so glad to get out of that trunk, and I got a good little story today. It's called Bent Double. That's the name of our story today. But Chesley, we just first want to say how glad we are to be here. Glad to see everybody. Oh, we can't see them, we're just imagining. That's right. We can't really see them right now, but we can just imagine they're out there listening. And there's going to be more of them listening as we go along. Yes, Chesley, there'll be more listening as they go along. And what we do plan to do is upload these to YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter. And so it'll be right here on Facebook, though, too. And so that later on, that one can see it if they want to. That's right. If they want to go back and see it again, they can do that. But right now, Chesley, we want to sing this is the theme song. This gospel train is chugging a trick is chugging a trick. This gospel train is chugging a trick, chugging to the glory land. And gonna see Jesus, yes I am, up in the glory land. That's Chesley, that's what we're gonna see, Jesus up in the glory land. We're so glad that we can talk about Jesus and tell them how great he is and he's so good. And get on board this gospel train, yes you can, yes you can. Get on board this gospel train, yes you can, yes you can. Yes, Chesley, they can. And we're so glad that we can. And who can? I can tell you who can. It's all who want to serve Jesus, all who want to serve him and love him. Some people want to just wait until they get in trouble, and then they call him, and then they just jump like they're done. That's right. They want Jesus to meet their needs, and then they're done with him. They just want him to be there. Yeah, just like, I don't think they're being good. It's not being a true friend. It's not being a true friend, Chesley. And, Jesus is a true friend, and that's what he's going. That's what he wants. He wants to help us all the time through all of our life. Every single day. Every single day. And Chesley, we're so glad to be here every Sunday afternoon. This is my favorite time to get out of that trunk. I know, Chesley, you get out of that trunk, I get to show off my Royal Ranger uniform. Yes, your Royal Ranger uniform. And you get to show off all those medals that I didn't earn. That's right. And just because you are an honorary, and you keep calling me honorary. No, Chesley, you're not honorary. You're an honorary. You're not the real deal as far as being a Royal Ranger. You didn't go through all of the program and take all the tests and do all the things you have to do. You saying I didn't earn these medals? That's right, you didn't earn it, but they were given to you. And one of them, some of these that you have, I think about 4 of them, came from Kai down in Waxahachie, Texas. And now he earned it, and now I'm getting to wear it. Does he want them back? No, he doesn't want them back. He's glad that you have them, and he still gets to see them. He still gets to see them. And right now, let's get right on into our story, Chesley. And we do appreciate everybody that watches. It's in wherever you are, some of us in Africa. That's right, Chesley. We look and see that sometimes we have people from Africa, but we appreciate everybody right here in the United States. And wherever you are, we're just glad to have you. And I'm glad to get out of that trunk. And here we go. In Luke chapter 13, verses 10 through 17. That's right. Our story is found in the New Testament in Luke chapter 13, verses 10 through 17. Frida, glad to see you on. Oh, that's Frito Pie. Is that what you call her? I call her Frito Pie. Yes, we're glad to have her on. And is your doggy watching? I imagine the doggy is watching too, all the way in Lubbock, Texas. So we're glad to have them on. And I tell you what, this story is, I teach really good. Jesus was at the synagogue, and that's what we call a church. That's right, Jesus was in the synagogue. We call it a church. They had the synagogue, and Jesus, you know what he was doing? He wasn't stirring strife. No, he wasn't stirring strife, and he wasn't just playing. No, he wasn't just playing. You know what he was doing? What he was doing, he was teaching there. The Bible said he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath. We call it our church house. And then while he was teaching in the synagogue, he saw a woman, and Chesley, listen to this. The Bible says, who for 18 years who had a sickness caused by a spirit, and she was bent double and could not straighten up at all. No, she was bent over double. Bent over double. That was a terrible situation. Can you imagine what that was like? Well, yeah, I think I can. I get stuffed in the trunk all the time. Well, okay, Chesley, that was really a bad question. Let me just tell the story here, what happened now. I could tell you what it is, being thrown in the trunk and bent double and twisted around and just... let's don't get off into that, Chesley. Instead of talking about you're just what we call, you're not a real person. And you say I don't matter. You do matter, Chesley, but it doesn't hurt you to get bent double. But this dear lady was bent double, and while Jesus was teaching, Jesus noticed this lady. I think, how could you not notice it? That's right, Chesley. How could you not notice? But those people have been noticing it for how long? You know what, Chesley? 18 years. 18 years? That's a long time. How did she breathe? Breathing, I think, would have been very difficult. Can you imagine that? Just think of it, kids, bent double. And you just bend over yourself and try to walk like that way for a while and see how difficult that is. You know, it's hard to see everything. You just mainly see on the floor, and you can look up a little bit. Well, yes, you can glance up, you know, but the Bible said it was impossible for her to straighten up. She was bent double. She could not straighten up, the Bible said, at all. And when Jesus saw her, he called her over and said to her, "Woman, you are freed from your sickness." You know why he did that? Because he had love. He had what we call love and compassion. That's just love in action. He couldn't stand it. And you know why? He knew that he could heal her. He was the Son of God. You know, that's what he did right then and there. He freed her from that sickness. And I think she did. We don't know what all that she did, Chesley. The Bible said he laid his hands on her, and immediately she was made erect. She could stand up tall, and she began glorifying God. That's what it says right in the Bible. She began glorifying God. Oh, she didn't just walk up and say, "Well, big deal." That's what she should have done. Oh, Chesley, wouldn't that have been awful if she had had that attitude and said, "Well, that's what he should have done. I saw him. I know he's healed other people." Do you know if she knew it? I don't know, Chesley, what all she did know, but word spread. It was again on the internet. They didn't have internet, but Chesley, believe me, people can spread the word from one to another and go from village to village, and they did have messengers that would take messages running. But Chesley, anyway, this lady I love, her response was she immediately began to glorify God. Oh, she was so thankful. Oh, I tell you what, that is a miracle. It was a great miracle. And Chesley, you would have thought everybody would have been happy. And the, you know, the people, the crowd there, they did begin to rejoice. Oh, they were so glad because I think they knew her. They probably had known this lady. Many of them had known her for those 18 years. Oh, and to see her now well, you know, and it was because Jesus had did it, and they was going to worship him. And you know, they recognized, some of them maybe recognized he was the Son of God. But I'll tell you what, the leader of the synagogue, you know what he did? He was the head man, and the Bible said he was indignant. Yeah, and then he was all bent out of shape. Yeah, he was bent all right. He was bent out of shape. He was so upset, and this is what the Bible said that he said. It said, but the synagogue official, indignant because Jesus had healed on the Sabbath day, began saying to the crowd. He turned to the crowd and said, well, he wanted to turn them away from Jesus and what had happened. Well, I tell you what, he should have been looking at Jesus and asking him to help him. But Chesley, he didn't. Instead, he said, there are 6 days in which work could be done, and come during that time and get healed, but not on the Sabbath day. Can you imagine such a thing? And he said it to that poor lady, and there that dear lady, she had been healed. Do you think she immediately said, well, I'm just going to bend over again? No, she stood up straight. She was so thankful because Jesus had healed her. And I tell you what, Jesus, he didn't let that go, did he? No, Jesus didn't let that go. You're right, Chesley. And Jesus answered him. He answered that man. He said, you hypocrites. Oh, he had that right. He really said it straight. Yes, he did. Jesus said it straight. And he said, as he said to him, you hypocrites, does not each one of you on the Sabbath day untie your ox or your donkey from the stall and lead them away and to water them? That's work too, if you want to call it work. He caught him. He caught him. Yes, he did. They did things like that. But this lady that had come, and she was there in the synagogue as Jesus was teaching. When she came in and he saw that she was bent over like that, bent double, you know, I tell you what, he just couldn't take it. He wasn't going to wait. There was no need to wait. And he said, where in your law does it say this, that she can't be healed on the Sabbath day? They were just so upset. And he said to all of these, but he said to the woman, he said, listen to this. He said, and this woman, a daughter of Abraham, as she is, whom Satan has bound for 18 long years. Hey, old mean devil, he does mean things. He don't do anything good. And there that guy siding with the devil. Well, Chesley, I tell you what, that's like what he was doing. There, that leader of the synagogue was like siding with the devil. Well, anyway, he said, and Jesus said to them, this woman, a daughter of Abraham, as she is, whom Satan has bound for 18 long years, should she not have been released from the bond on the Sabbath day? No, I say yes. He didn't. I know he didn't. He's still just going to stand by what he believed, the law, the way he... It was in what they did, Chesley. They would just add things to the law. And so they weren't being honest. They were not being honest. But Jesus just came and he did truth. He did what was right, what was the right thing to do. They had just made up some things to add on to the law. It's not pleasing to God. It's not pleasing to God. And It doesn't work. And he said this, all his opponents were being humiliated. As he said this, it said his opponents, those people against him, were being humiliated. And the entire crowd was rejoicing over the wonderful things the Lord had done. Oh, I tell you what, they just went right on praising the Lord. You know, they didn't say, oh, well, what this official has said, I guess that we've got to condemn her too. No, they didn't. They just kept doing the right thing. They kept rejoicing and praising the Lord and spreading the good news. I believe they spread the good news. Good. Do you know when they called her by name and said, they was telling the words, look, she's been healed. She's been, you know, her, well, that's been 18 years she's been like that. You know, that Jesus came. When Jesus comes, he makes a difference. He's the difference maker. Jesus is the difference maker, yes. And Chesley, when we let him into our life, he'll make a difference. He will make a difference in our life. Can we reach out and pray for sick people? Yes, Chesley, we can pray for sick people. We can pray for them, and the Lord still heals today. And some folks don't think it's true. I know they think, well, that was just back in the first century Christians. But, you know, Chesley, Jesus is the same today as he was back then. So, Chesley, we need to remember this, that Jesus still heals and still loves and still cares, and we're going to be on Jesus' side. We're going to say what Jesus says. We want to be like him and do like him. So, Chesley, if we know somebody that is in need, you mean that they need some healing, they need healing, what we're going to do is pray and believe for the Lord to heal them. So that's what I think is a good thing. Alicia, good to see you on. I see you've come on. Glad to have you on. And she watches all the time. That's right. She watches all the time. She's known you since, you know, way back under. I came around here in 71. You know, 1971, you came to me, but before that, you know, I was a tree. Yeah, you was a tree. So we really don't know how old you are. But really, this is a good thing, Chesley, for you now that you've told this story. I think Frida likes it. Frida said, yes, she likes it. And guess what? The Lord has been giving me some things to use, and I'll take from this scripture. The Lord has just blessed me with some thoughts for next Friday when I do a program called Kneading Bread for the Master on another one of my Facebook pages called Silver Citizen Believers Brigade. Oh, I'm already rejoicing. Did you want to do it right now, or I stay? No, Chesley. It's time for you to go to bed. So you tell everybody goodbye, and you look forward to seeing them next week, the Lord willing. Now, there's being here. I'm going to head my story ready. I mean, you better get it because you're the voice of me. That's right, Chesley. I will have it ready with the help of the Lord. But right now, you need to get yourself to bed. And I don't know why I had to go. Well, Chesley, you're just kind of stalling around. But what you need to do is go and get in that trunk because it's all set up and ready to go. Do I get to come back next week? Yes, you get to come back next week and tell a Bible story and sing a song, and I can flirt with the girls. Yes, you can flirt with the girls. You can do all of that, but you're still stalling. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. We love you a bunch. Goodbye. I gotta go to dinner. Yeah, I'm not fussing. Not me. No, you're not fussing. Not now.